Hi, I'm Daniel.
And I'm Zach.
And welcome back to our channel. Today,
we're going to talk about a Disney movie most of you have probably never heard of.
we should have said we're going to reluctantly talk about this movie. So, I got my wish. The Disney cats smiled upon me and said, "No, Daniel, you don't have to watch Fantasia."
And by Disney cats,
that one that you hear screaming. That one.
I agreed that we could skip Fantasia.
Oh, such a horrible movie. Oh my God, such a horrible movie. Anyway.
If you disagree with his opinion, please direct all correspondence to him.
Anyway, so we skipped on to the next one, chronologically speaking, which would be The Reluctant Dragon. Now remember, our criteria is it must be animated and a actual motion picture release.
Specifically, there's a list on Wikipedia of theatrically released Disney animated films, and this film appears on it.
So, The Reluctant Dragon stars Robert Benchley. I apologize for the cat. You're just going to have to...
He's just so excited.
He's so excited. It was released in 1941. Like I said, it starred Robert Benchley. And it is a mixture of live action and animation.
And it's odd.
It is very odd.
It is very odd.
It's very odd. And before we get into this, the animated portions of the film, it does end with a animated short called
The Reluctant Dragon.
The Reluctant Dragon. And that since that dragon is blue, we have come up with a drink. What is it?
And by come up with, I Googled and found one.
What is it called?
It's called The Blue Dragon.
The Blue Dragon. So we are going to make that here. We don't have two cameras today. We start with some ice. Start with a little bit of blue Caraco, or is it Curacao? Curacao. Anyway, it's orange liqueur, basically. It's blue orange liqueur. So we're going to put a little bit of blue orange liqueur.
It's the simplest drink ever.
A little bit of blue vodka.
Yeah, vodka's clear.
A little swirling around there. And here.
Thank you.
I'm not a big fan of blue curacao.
So you'll drink yours. You'll drink like 2 sips of yours and then throw it out.
No, I have a secret weapon for mine.
A secret weapon?
Yes. Okay, so first of all, I will. Oh, this cup needs to be washed better. Look, I'm just here for the booze. All right, let's.
Ooh.
Ah!
I don't know what blue curacao is supposed to taste like.
I have strawberry watermelon.
I'll take some
punch.
of that. That was basically like drinking straight vodka.
Let's see if I can tone this down some here.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm not. I don't have that. It's
Better.
still really strong. But yes, strawberry watermelon makes it better. So. Yeah, because that was basically just like orange liqueur with straight vodka. So
I thought it was a little odd when I found the recipe on the internet.
that's a Vera Charles recipe right there. Anyway, that's a nice shout out for our good friend Vera Charles.
The plot of this film is about as paper thin as you can possibly get.
I am all right. So the film opens with Robert Benchley in his swimming pool, where he is shooting rubber darts at ducks. I question his marksmanship because he keeps hitting the same duck. Where his wife is reading him a storybook called The Reluctant Dragon. She then says, "Hey, lazy butt, why don't you go tell Walt Disney that he needs to make a cartoon, his next animated cartoon based off this book?"
So my question here is, are we supposed to believe that he wrote the book?
Yeah, no, that's also a very interesting point there. So Robert Benchley had nothing to do with writing the book or animating the book, or drawing the book or whatever. He was just going to steal someone else's book.
Take it to Disney and be like, make a movie.
Step 1, find a book. Step 2, take it to Disney. Step 4, profit. It's just like there's a whole bunch of stuff that we're missing. But it sets up the framework for Robert Benchley to go to the Walt Disney Studios. And it turns out that this movie, The Reluctant Dragon, is in essence a behind-the-scenes tour of the Walt Disney Studios in Burbank, as they stood in 1941.
And part of the reason for this, which we found out after the fact, was there was an animator's strike that year, so they needed to do things that didn't involve that particular section of the company.
Also, it was the first feature-length cartoon first feature-length animated movie, I should say, was Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. It won lots of awards, and so people were intensely curious about the studios. Like, what were these things? How did they do these things? So it was very much in the vein of if you've ever seen any old Walt Disney Channel, all Walt Disney Wonderful World of Disney things where they do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff. It's not really behind the scenes because everything is staged, but it gives you the gist of what's going on. So we go with Robert Benchley. As he arrives on the studio, he is met by a militant homosexual. And I don't mean that in a sense of like an activist. I mean like literally a homosexual dressed like a military person. And this young man is supposed to guide Robert Benchley to visit Walt Disney to pitch the idea, and hilarity ensues because Robert Benchley, who I still don't entirely know who he is, I guess he was a movie star at the time. I think
he was a humorist.
Yeah. So Robert Benchley, of course, takes detours and ends up in different departments of the Walt Disney Studio, where we are introduced to the modeling department, like the art department where they're sketching. They're doing nude sketches, which seems very salacious until we realize it's an elephant. Which is, of course, the next movie on our list is
Dumbo.
Dumbo. So that makes sense that they had an elephant there.
Here's a question, just because Dumbo's now on my mind. Is Dumbo the shortest Disney animated feature? It's barely an hour.
Yeah, I don't know. That is a good question. If only there was an internet system of computers that we could ask that question to and find out. Anyway, so the Dumbo, they go to, and then from there he ends up into a sound department where they are doing Foley sounds for a Casey Jr. cartoon, and I guess we're supposed to believe that the Foley artists are doing it all live. All at the same time, like a big recording, because they're all set up in the room to do that. Once he leaves there, he ends up in another room that, when he opens the door, much like the Wizard of Oz, becomes color. Prior to this, did I mention prior to this, it was all black and white?
Yes.
He opens the door and it becomes color.
Specifically Technicolor,
yes.
Because he breaks the fourth wall and makes a comment about it.
Yes. And so he ends up in the ink and paint department, where he then learns about ink and paint. We see the multi-plane camera. We see a short Donald Duck animation about how they do the animation cells. I believe they also show us a cell of Bambi, which is another movie that they were working on at the time. Then they take him to the modeling department, and inside the modeling department, there were maquettes that they're in. Some of the Easter eggs are from movies that had not yet come out yet. We see maquettes of Cy and Am from Lady and the Tramp, Peter, Captain Hook, Tinkerbell, Mr. Smee, John and Michael Darling from Peter Pan. We're still doing that white balance thing again.
We are.
It's really annoying me.
Sorry.
It's like the camera breathes. I don't know how to fix it. It's like the camera just keeps wanting to get lighter and if you know how to fix that, by the way,
on a Canon G7X,
please let me know
in the comments.
Anyway, so these maquettes were in there, and they give him a maquette. And then from there, he goes to the recording studio where he hears, or maybe that was before, I don't know. He ends up going to a whole bunch of different places, seeing a whole bunch of different things. It all ends up with him being in a screening room where he meets Walt Disney for exactly 10 seconds. Walt
Disney had like 2 lines.
Yes. And then the movie that they happen to be screening is The Reluctant Dragon, which Walt Disney had already made. So there go your plans to make money, Robert Benchley. Sorry, you won't have them.
And this is just the live action part. The last 20 minutes of the film are the Reluctant Dragon short.
Yeah, there was a couple of shorts sprinkled throughout the film. There was a Goofy short that was done at one point, which was kind of like that Goofy learns to do things. I believe that one actually was released as a short later, but one of the Easter eggs there is that Ward Kimball was one of the animators in that room, so you actually got to meet Ward Kimball there. Also, the guy that drew Pluto was in there. Norm Ferguson, the guy that
drew the best Disney dog ever.
That's right, the bestest Disney dog ever. He was there. There was also a storyboarding scene that kind of got turned into an animated thing about this very confusing story called Humphrey, which was about a little baby who was taken away from his parents, and apparently they had no say-so in the whole thing. It was a very difficult to follow thing. However, one of the people in that scene was someone famous, Alan Ladd. Sure, we'll go there. Alan Ladd. I don't know who he is, but Wikipedia decided to call him out. So, any Alan Ladd fans out there, that's your scene. Anyway,
I thought it was Alan Ludden.
I got nothing.
Wasn't that Betty White's husband?
No, that was he was a game show host.
Yes, wasn't he Betty White's husband?
Yeah, but I don't know. It was Alan Ludden, was it? It was something Ludden. Anyway, we're all over the road here, but basically, so was this movie. Is the point? It's interesting.
Watching this video is like watching that movie.
Except we're not steeped in Disney history, so it's like, it was fun to kind of see the studios and to see,
as they existed before any of the parks were a thing.
Yeah. And Walt Disney, as you commented on, was very young. You're used to seeing Walt as an older man, but it was a very, probably in his 30s, Walt Disney there. Without a cigarette. He wasn't smoking.
Plenty of other people smoked.
Oh yeah, they were, ashtrays everywhere. They were all smoking and everything. And I think the studio guide, the militant homosexual, was actually played by Buddy Pepper, who went on, I believe, to do some other stuff in his life. He's an American pianist. He's a pianist, songwriter, arranger, and actor. He wrote the top tune of 1953 called Vaya con Dios. Are we making you want to see this film? What were your thoughts? What were your thoughts on it?
Are we going to talk about the 20-minute Reluctant Dragon short?
Sure. We can talk about anything. Anything you would like to talk about.
This was just very strange. I said that earlier, but it bears repeating. You see these sorts of things today, even on like Disney Plus, behind the scenes things on various departments. But for this to be actually put out into theaters, it's a very odd choice and a very odd film, and it didn't do very well. It made less than $1 million.
Yeah, it was one of those things that is like, now that I'm thinking about it, it was, if you ever went to Disney MGM Studios back when it opened, the tour through the animation studio almost parallels this film. Like, you actually do go through all those departments in the studio tour. I kind of now wonder if they based that tour off of this film, because you end up in a screening room at the end of that tour and watch stuff, but you go through the paint department, through the camera department, through the drawing department. And at the time, the studio tour, the animation studio tour in Florida, they were making Pocahontas and Lilo and Stitch, so they were working. I mean, you could see through the glass.
There was an actual working studio on Disney property.
You could see them drawing and stuff. They were on display, drawing and whatnot. So I wonder. But it's interesting, but I feel like we've gotten better at the behind-the-scenes stuff. We've gotten better at showing those things because this all just seems so staged, kind of hokey staged, kind of a thing.
It's a thinly sketched plot designed to make something out of this, what is essentially nothing.
Yeah.
And
much like this video.
And I don't know that, I mean, people wouldn't just let you wander into places in a real movie studio, I don't think. I'm pretty sure.
You're not Peter Benchley.
No, but I'm pretty sure if we walked into somewhere we weren't supposed to be on Disney property, they'd be like, hey.
Now, in fairness, the guard did know who he was. Oh, Mr. Benchley. And he was recognized a couple of times on the tour, so he was recognized.
Oh, so it's a person of privilege using their privilege to get what they want.
I will give them this. It for a 1941 film, the employees of the Walt Disney Studio were remarkably diverse. There was females in prominent roles, an Asian woman in a prominent role, as like not a stereotype, like she was one of the animators that didn't like speak in a weird accent or whatever. It was very. I didn't see any African American. I'm sure there were some in there somewhere, but I didn't. They're not jumping out at me right now. But they were fairly well represented. I feel like all ages and definitely male and female were covered there, I think. And it wasn't like the females in it were not gratuitously attractive. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. It wasn't like every single woman looked like a model or whatever. It was real people.
It was real everyday people.
Yeah, and I feel like they did a good job on that. It's something, if you want to give it a look, it's on Disney Plus. It doesn't cost you anything. If you want to skip right to the actual 20-minute Reluctant Dragon cartoon is not horrible. It's cute.
It's about a dragon and a wizard who, because reasons, have to fight each other but don't want to fight each other.
Not a wizard, he's a knight.
Oh.
Yeah.
But he's not a traditional knight.
No.
So I think that's where I'm getting wizard.
Yeah. So it's definitely. I don't know. You'll probably never watch this because we have not given this a glowing review. You're just like, but you know what? We made it through.
We watched it for you, so you don't have to.
There you go. Next up on our little tour here is Dumbo.
Yes.
So we will watch that and we'll try to be more coherent on Dumbo. Does that mean you're going to try to find a gray drink?
I don't know. We've got some time. We'll think about it.
It's definitely, if you're going to try the Blue Dragon, definitely
add something.
Add the strawberry watermelon Crystal Light to it because that makes it palatable. Excellent. All right. This has been All Over the Road, but if you would like to chime in and talk to us, make sure you leave us some comments down below.
If you're new here, sorry, it's long and rambling. Subscribe if you like what you see and leave a thumbs up. That helps us get recommended.
That's right. We're slowly in this stay-at-home era working our way to 1,000 subscribers.
Yes.
Where are we at? 7 something?
So we're at 721 last I checked.
721, which makes us roughly a tenth of the Leffersons. So that's good. That's good. So I got nothing more. If you want to reach out to us on the socials, our information is down below in the doobly-doo.
We are excited to hopefully get back to the parks next month once they release the reservation system.
Yeah. If they release the reservation system. That's what we're waiting on.
We're a month out and still nothing.
We're less than a month out. And today is
the 7th.
The 17th. So even the latest parks opening will be the 15th. So we're less than a month away, and we still have no word on what. Now that I say that, I'm going to edit this, post it tonight, and it'll be like, oh, reservation system's out. But as of the time we're recording this, we still have no idea what the reservation system is going to be.
But we do know it's likely going to be in place for a while.
Yeah. Well,
like at least a year.
Yeah. But you know what? We're excited to go back nonetheless. Also excited to see if they're going to reopen the water parks, which we've heard nothing about. So
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, Volcano Bay's open.
So well, they figured if you can get electrocuted, you probably are okay with the virus.
Anyway, until next time.
See you real soon.